everybody. We are here with director Kyra Elise Gardner, and she has a new film coming out that we hear is very good called Living with Chucky, and it's going to be released on all major VOD platforms and Screenbox April 4th. Kyra, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. I've got some scissors behind me, but I'm good. So can you tell me about Living with Chucky?
Yes. I can. It
The film,
is.
not like in general.
Oh, wait. Not in general, but the movie.
Yes.
Okay, that's important. um, yeah. No, it was a short film that originated when I was in film school. I wanted to make. My film school had us do documentaries for a semester, so I thought I would do something that is a little more personal to my life. Originally, I intended on making it about what it was like to grow up with an SFX artist as a dad, but that quickly turned into it being focused on Chucky, since that is the one of the things he's done since the beginning of my childhood and is still doing. He leaves for Chucky season 3 in like 15 days.
Oh, that's awesome.
I started it as a short film called The Dollhouse, and then after that short film, it received such great attention from fans, and people were really receptive to the familial aspect that I really focused on in the 7-minute version. And I had so much footage at the time, I figured who better to turn it into a feature and your one-stop shop for Chucky than somebody who's lived with it.
Amazing. And how did you end up selecting the people that you interviewed?
It was honestly whoever I had access to. I was a filmmaker on a budget and no money and a bunch of cameras that I borrowed from a bunch of people. So whoever I could connect to through the Chucky family, like Don Mancini helped facilitate the interview with Billy Boyd, which was so lovely. But also I just DM'd Christine Elise, I think, on Facebook, and was like, do you want to be in this thing? It was great after the short because I could at least send everybody a reference for what we were going to be talking about, which was nice. And then as far as everybody else goes for the guest celebrity interviews, it was people I had access to that were kind enough to set aside a few hours of their day, but also in some shape or form had a connection, whether they loved horror, where Marlon Wayans is the king of horror spoofs. Abigail Breslin is literally in a show called Scream Queens. So that's kind of how that came about, was what do I have access to and what can I shoot and what makes sense?
Now, which one of the interviews surprised you the most?
In what way?
You decide.
Okay. There's multiple, but a fun one I would think is John Waters. I just had no prior conversations with him really to that day, especially about Chucky, and he's briefly in a seat of Chucky behind the scenes vignette type of thing. So I had no idea what he was gonna say, if he was really gonna have a lot of stories, because he's really only in the movie for a certain amount of time. But he had a lot to talk about, and it was really fun being at his own house in Baltimore. It was so cool.
Okay, I am so jealous. I am so jealous. I mean, John Waters, come on. Was he amazing?
Oh, of course. There's so much I wanted to put in there that just didn't have anything to do with it, but it was just funny. But I couldn't because it made no sense. But everything that came out of his mouth was hilarious.
Yeah, he's something else. And can we just decide that Lynn Shaye is probably one of the nicest people on the planet?
Yes, absolutely, 1,000% agree. She's so sweet. There were so many gems of her interview that I wanted to include in this part where she's talking about what it's like to play an actress in a horror movie and experiencing fear on camera. She got so emotional talking about it. She cried actually. And it was so heartfelt. It was just, we dived too hard deep into that, and I couldn't get out of it in the edit to come back to where the story overarching story of the film was. But my God, was it amazing. And I just want to make like a documentary on Lynn Shaye now.
Oh, I mean, you kind of have to, because
Yeah.
uh, she's just the sweetest. What was the common thread that all of these folks had in common?
As far as like the guests or the
Yeah.
family.
Well, the guests and the family, and just like, what is it that really brought everybody together around a killer doll?
Yeah, I think it's like filmmaking in general. I think if you're not in film or working in the arts, it's you have no idea what goes into making a film, even a bad film. And we talk, and John Waters says that in the documentary. It's so hard to make any movie. Even if you made a bad one, you still made a movie, and that's hard in itself. So there's not a lot of discussion that happens openly, I feel like, with the public about how hard that is.
Oh yeah.
And especially for an underrated genre that doesn't even get recognized from the Academy, like horror. And a lot of the times that's crazier stuff happening. You're like in a blood bag at 3 a.m. and it's freezing cold, but you do it because you love it. And so I think that's like James Janisse says in the documentary, like horror is a subculture, like counterculture in itself. So it makes us all appreciate it even more, but also the people who work on it know what goes into making it. So that's kind of like the bond of people, especially in horror, is just like, we know filmmaking is hard, but also horror filmmaking is an extra dose of hard, and we all are like trauma bonded.
And we love it so hard that we just do it.
That we just do it.
Do you have a particular favorite installment of the Child's Play series?
I like Child's Play too.
Tell me why.
I like the foster sibling dynamic, and that it doesn't necessarily take place in a foster home. Like it's their dynamic as foster siblings in, like, not, I don't mean like I mean not in an orphanage, like with their foster parents. That's really interesting. I'm a younger sister. I have an older sister. So I liked that Kyle and Andy dynamic, as well as like the color palette of the film is really amazing. Like that pink house and the toy factory, and also the score. I really like the Child's Play 2 score is my favorite score.
Nice. I love that you honed in on the craft side of it too. I mean, like, obviously you would, but score is one of my favorite things to latch onto, because it's such a difficult thing to pull off well.
Yeah. You can do it. You can do it badly very easily.
Oh yes, you can. And then even if it's a good score, if it's mixed poorly, it
Kills
forget
it.
it. So
Yeah.
and bringing it back to the original question, talk to me about living with Chucky for real.
Actually living with Chucky
Yeah.
for real. Yeah. It's so weird. Even in making this documentary, it's like I don't have third-party perspective because it's just been something that has been in my life since I was 4. So like obviously it's a weird, unconventional childhood, but like it's all I know. It's that, so it seems normal to me. But not everybody else had like Chucky at their birthday parties each year, or brought out during Halloween each year. Yeah, which, so I really appreciated the making the documentary, because I thought I kind of had this isolated experience of growing up with this doll, but like meeting Fiona, Dourif, and talking to her and her dad about their experiences. It's like so many things I thought was my own unique little snippet of my childhood was very much the same for Fiona, very much the same for David Kirschner as a dad. They also, like, my dad's given so many people a Chucky doll as they've gone and done the films together. So like David has one that my dad gave him, and like they always bring Chucky out at their Halloween things, and Chucky's always at our Halloween, or he's just there in my dad's office and it's there in David's office, and it scares the local kids, and same with our family. It's just like so funny to be like, oh, okay, cool. It's like all of us kind of have this weird, very specific, similar thing.
That's amazing. So okay, so full disclosure, I am a Michael Myers guy.
Okay.
but why? I'm assuming Chucky is your favorite.
I don't know. I honestly just wish I would have grown up in that time when this was becoming really popular, because I'm so desensitized
Yeah.
that, like, it's not as scary to me. So I don't know if I have, like, and I wish I would have seen it in a theater and all that stuff. So I don't know if I have a favorite, because I grew up on like early 2000s horror films and things like that. So I mean, I do love Chucky, but I don't know if I have like a favorite killer.
But he's more like family to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, it's not a weird, like, I'm not scared. I'm never scared of it. So
Well, he's just so funny. How can you be? So,
yeah.
he's got all those great remarks. So, but Kyra, it was absolutely a pleasure to talk to you. And I wish you the best of luck on this release.
Oh,
Everybody, Living with Chucky is coming out all major VOD platforms and on Screenbox on April 4th.
oh, thank you. I also like how it looks like you have Chucky's hair. If the
Oh
middle,
my God,
yeah,
wait. There we go.
yes. You look like you've been looking like Chucky this whole time. I just had to point that out before.
And then
But
if I
thank
go
you
like
so
this, I have ears like that.
Yeah. See, have a good rest of your evening.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.